What's up, y'all? It's time for me to fix my screen. It's time for some George Orwell, as promised, and a promise that I'm sure nobody remembers, but I said that I had several George Orwell graphic novels coming your way, and this is the first of at least 4. I have 3 more after this. What are they going to be? Who knows? You'll have to stick around. Hit that subscribe button. So anyways, we're looking at Homage to Catalonia is the English title. But as far as I know, there's no English edition of this. I think it's available. This is the Spanish copy, and I think it's available also in Catalan, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, this is the Spanish edition. So if you want to read it, you're going to have to read Spanish or go back to the original George Orwell. So let's take a look at this guy. When did this come out? I don't know when it came out. I think Andrea Lucio is apparently the artist. I don't know if it's a man or woman, Andrea, or Andrea, or on. I don't know. I'm gonna guess woman. It doesn't matter because we're just looking at the comic. So, anyways, here we go. Wait, it says translation by Miguel Temprano. So, what's the original language? Is it maybe the original is Catalan? Let's see if I can figure that out. I don't want to read all this. Anyways, doesn't matter. The art was pretty good, I thought. This looks like almost like art that you took photos and then you put them through a filter and they got this. But I don't know how this art was made. It begins, rather than just adapting Orwell's book, it's sort of a kind of a frame with this guy's a real guy, and I think he's like a professor or some kind of professor of Orwell studies, Orwelliana, and I think the book's author or adapters are kind of interviewing him. So there's kind of this frame. We see modern Barcelona where most of the story takes place, I think, and then we kind of jump back and we get jump into a different color scheme. You notice I've seen this a lot lately. These very reduced and limited color schemes that sometimes they work, sometimes they just kind of give you a kind of a muted effect. I think in this case, because we're looking at the past and kind of as a way to distinguish it from the present. Oh, and also there's a lot of incorporation of photos, which is kind of neat. So it's a very multimedia experience, this. How long is this book? It's about 145 pages. So it's pretty simple art. And basically it kind of recounts. I've read, I think, 3 George Orwell books. I've read, of course, 1984, also Animal Farm. And I also read his first book, which is an autobiographical narrative, Down and Out in Paris and London, which didn't really do much for me. I thought it was kind of, a guy trying to figure out how to write and how to make a story that was interesting. There were some kind of neat moments, but I think as a whole, I wasn't that excited about it. And I think I'm curious to read more Orwell, but I think if you just read, well, I don't know, I could be totally wrong. Maybe if any hardcore Orwellians are out there, you can let me know. But I think, my experience is that Animal Farm in 1984 is best things. And if somebody really loves some of his other work, let me know, because I'm curious to read more Orwell. I just never have. But everybody should read 1984 if you haven't. It's weird to hear people make references to 1984 who haven't read 1984. They're like familiar with the terminology, but they sometimes use it in a very ironic way, in which Orwell, I think, would be kind of disappointed or would be turning over in his grave, or whatever the expression is. So anyways, yeah, this book kind of reminded me of Down and Out in Paris and London, in that it was autobiographical, but it was like not much of a narrative drive. Things happened, and basically he gets pulled into this war in which he's not really sure why he's fighting, and nothing really happened. I mean, some things happen, but not a lot happens, and not really leading towards anything. It's just kind of like this feeling of why are we here-ness, and kind of dismay after the war ended a bit. So I wanted to like it a little more than I think I could. And the art was functional and probably could have done the deed better if the story was better. See if there's anything else I can add about this. Yeah, so every now and then we jump back to this guy. I don't know who he is. He's somebody talking about the narration, what kind of a narrator Orwell is creating, and yeah, I think he's kind of, it's kind of interesting when some book or author is so famous that everybody feels that we should study every word that they've written, and then sometimes there's just not a lot there, and I feel like you're just kind of reading more than needs to be there. And there are better books nowadays. Not that I'm knocking George Orwell. It's interesting, I think, if you really want to see an author's development. But I used to be kind of like that. I would want to read everything by an author from the beginning. Now I'm the opposite. I just give me the greatest hits. And then if I really, really like them, read Anna Karenina or War and Peace before you read all these tiny essays that nobody has heard of from Tolstoy. Because, who has time to read all the books? So go for the best ones. That's the motto. And we jump around. This is kind of weird. They have what are these called? A QR code right in the middle of the book. I guess it's some road, some street named after Orwell, Rita Orwell. And so yeah, I can't say I'm really recommending this book. I think it was basically kind of, a good adaptation gets you interested enough, whether it's a movie or a comic or whatever, it gets you interested in say, hey, I got to go back and read the original. After reading this, I wasn't like that. I was like, I feel like I don't want to read the original now. So not necessarily a good poster child for Homage to Catalonia. If you guys have read Homage to Catalonia, the original book, let me know what it is. Tell me all about Orwell. And like I said, I got 3 more Orwell graphic novels coming your way, probably in December. Can you guess what they are? No, you can't, so you better subscribe. See you there.